Volkswagen T-Roc. Another review, another shape of Volkswagen Group crossover. Better get on with it, I suppose, eh? Okay, I'll try to be enthusiastic about this, but it's quite difficult. How many SUVs can we take from big VWG? Like, a quick count brings you to 16 SUVs and crossover type thingies from the big Vag. Let's give it a second here while it cycles through them. And the problem is that, discounting the really high-end stuff, a lot of them are really similar. Something I alluded to recently when I did the latest Skoda one. Let's play a quick game of Spot the T-Roc among these recent VW Group SUVs. But let me read you this thing from Big Volkswagen Group HQ. You want a car that's as confident as you are, that challenges the status quo. An SUV with bold, striking design baked into every angle and line. The T-Roc is powerful, detail-obsessed and avant-garde, with personality that packs a punch. Wow, compared to the VWG crossover blandorama that we're used to, this one must be completely mental! And so... yeah, it's not quite the party on wheels that we might have expected. Especially given the promise of the concept, which in 2014 at the Geneva Motor Show looked like this. And which has been comprehensively production Volkswagenized. So, where it was a 3-door and all low and that, oh, and it was a convertible too, this is pretty much your bog standard fatty hatchback with 5 doors and a fixed roof. Okay, so we've worked out what it's not. Let's get to the bottom of what it is. And that's where things get really confusing. See, to look at this thing and to drive it, it has all the attributes of a compact crossover. Looks quite small, feels quite small, and both the quality and the design have the slight whiff of a lower end product. Like, all this stuff here is hard plastic, and all these coloured bits look quite nice in that, but they're the sort of thing that manufacturers do to distract you from something that's generally a bit substandard. Like, you open the glove box and it feels a bit lightweight and cheap. In this sort of car, you want a big storage box down here, but this one's like really piddly. Although you can hold large bottles in the door pockets, you know, if you want to get all what car about it. It feels like the interior is less Audi and more Aldi. Good thing about that though is that at least it'll be a bargain, right? That's a more complicated question than usual because the answer depends on how you frame this car. See, from a cabin ambience and ostensible dimensional point of view, again, this feels more like a small crossover. And here's what the small crossover massive looks like. And here's what the T-Roc costs. Reassuringly expensive, you might say. But then if you look at the boot space that this has and consider how spacious it feels all around, which you'll just have to take my word for, but honestly it does feel pretty big in here. Seems more like a family crossover, and with that in mind, it looks quite cheap. And here's the thing, right? So if you take the mean average price of these crossovers, it comes to this. Then the average of the small crossovers is that. The halfway point between the two is this, which is alarmingly close to the T-Roc starting price. Same for the boot space, the average for the big ones is this, and the average for the little ones is that. What that means is that this does indeed, to quote Volkswagen, challenge the status quo. But it does so in the least rock and roll way imaginable. It's all very measured, more like prog rock. We all know how interesting that is. Want a Nissan Duke rival that's spacious, stylish, and for a small premium has the credibility bump of the Volkswagen badge? Look no further. Or want a Nissan Qashqai rival that might be a little bit low on ostensible quality and on overall space, but makes up for it by being good looking, good value, and good to drive. Which is another reason why it feels both compact behind the wheel and quite youthy compared to most family crossovers. There's more feel and sharpness through the steering wheel than you might expect. It's actually quite possible to enjoy driving this thing, which again for a family crossover is pretty rare. Turns in quite well, quite predictable, and other things that road testers say about something that you get in and feel comfortable driving and confident driving. But then it's really good at the VW type stuff as well, so it rides over potholes quite smoothly and there's hardly any wind and road noise. It's really refined. It feels like a big, comfortable, quite expensive car. Everything's in the right place and does the right things. Engines. This is the area where the T-Roc veers back over into small crossover territory. Very petrol-y for a start. 3 of them and only 1 diesel. Diesel that only comes as a 4x4. So you're better off sticking with the lower end petrol stuff, and specifically the 1.5 TSI if you can stretch to it, which is the best engine in this car by far. You're hearing quite a lot of me clattering over potholes and stuff, but other than that, listen to how quiet the engine is. There's nothing wrong with the 1 litre petrol, but this 1.5 is significantly more powerful, and yet it's very nearly as economical. And actually, if you're going to drive this a little bit more enthusiastically than, oh, that was a bad gear change, more enthusiastically than the average crossover driver, you'll probably find that this is a bit more economical because you don't have to thrash it as much as you will the 1 litre. Having said that, this is a fun engine to thrash. And, well, you know, VW diesel. And so before we finish and I tell you to go to the Honest John website for a more detailed review of the T-Roc, ergo washing my hands of any responsibility to be actually detailed in these things, let's quickly look at a couple more consumery things. So first, because Volkswagen has far more corporate perspicacity on the issue of safety than it does on the issue of emissions, the T-Roc gets a 5-star Euro NCAP rating. Cue video of T-Roc hitting hard surface now. And it looks well equipped too, with your 19 grand 1 litre basic version called S, getting climate control and a feely touchscreen and alloy wheels and all the other stuff that makes it look good on paper. However, as ever, because Volkswagen also has financial corporate perspicacity, the interior of that car looks like this, because Volkswagen wants you to spend more money on it. And so if you want a TV advertisement spec T-Roc with a bit of colour and a bit of power, then you're gonna have to get something like this one, which costs that much. But you know, fun orange wheels and fun white roof and all that sort of shizzle. In conclusion, the moral of the story, as usual, is you can pay a lot for your Volkswagen. The end. Go to the website now. Bye.